guys.
Hey guys, how are you doing today on, I've lost count, with the quarantine, lockdown, and everything that has occurred thus far. But we want to start off this podcast by sending out our heart, our love, our prayers, and condolences to everyone that has been affected during this time with the COVID-19. It has been just such a shift in all of our lives and has affected and impacted us on so many levels that we are just praying for you guys and sending out our love and letting you know that no matter what, God is in control and He is looking over all of us. Just keep the faith. Let's all keep working together as the unity that we're supposed to be as humankind. Find compassion and continue to find positivity through the storm that we are all facing right now.
Exactly. And again, guys, follow us. We're on YouTube. Follow our podcast. This is episode 2 of Life Untangled. I am Casey, and this is my gorgeous wife, Shaine. And the topic for today is...
what are some ways that we can be more prepared as a society when it comes to just having the necessities that need to be set in place in order for us to just have a better handle on things of this nature, to this height that we're being affected by with the virus and even other things, from school shootings to attacks of any kind that occur to us as a population.
First thing I want to kind of get into is I'm going to ask my wife's opinion. If you guys want to chime in and, leave us a message or your opinion down below, that's fine. But how do you think the world has been handling this virus? And I know this topic has probably been recycled, but we're going to go in a slightly different direction because I just want to find out from y'all, from my wife, how do you feel this situation has been handled, from hospitals to schools to everything? So, honey,
I get to take it away.
I have my own opinion, but I want to, it's ladies first, so I want to hear.
It's a delicate conversation, first of all. I would say, from my opinion, to have with anyone, because we all have, as we know reflectively, our own opinions and say-sos and our takes on how things can be handled. But personally, I feel we could have approached this situation that we're being that has been dealt to us in a way, and I'm using dealt in a very, very sketchy, thin line, I would say, like I'm crossing a thin line that has been dealt to us, because there's just so many people out there that have their own take on how this virus, first of all, occurred, how it came to be, whether it came from across seas. I'm not going to name places, but we all know the stories. I'm sure if you guys have been online reading, Googling, on IG, on all the social platforms, that there are several different stories out there, but we're not going to get into that. I just feel that we could have been better prepared to handle it. And the first thing I think my husband would agree with would be in the technology aspect. When it comes to our hospitals having certain things that they needed to have laid out. Even schools, the format of things that our country here in America should have had laid out already is something that we should not have seen shortages of, or the amount of impact that it has, or setback that has occurred from these disadvantages. And I'm pretty sure that other places or people that live in our country that come from other countries, they look at it like, wow, this would have never happened where I came from. And I'm sure we say it as well ourselves, the citizens of the United States, I myself, First thing I would say is the hospital. I just recently saw on IG, and I told my husband, it was shocking to me. I saw someone post that they were donating chargers to a local hospital. And mind you guys, we're right now in the Bronx because my husband's mother-in-law passed away recently in December, not due to the COVID, but due to health setbacks and having been diagnosed with cancer. So when I saw this IG post saying that a person was donating or gifting to a friend of hers about 50, I believe it was 50 chargers. And I'm referring to chargers that we charge our devices with. That left me with a question mark over my head, because it's the smallest thing, right, hun? It's the smallest thing that could easily have been facilitated to our hospitals almost immediately. I would say within days of knowing that this virus was attacking and taking people's lives at the height and at the rate that it was causing at the time. Within the first 2 weeks, from the time we had lockdown, March 15th or the 16th, chargers, a lot of other things that were necessary should have been already stocked up, prepared in a hospital, because the death rates, that families are dealing with, even us ourselves, we just lost our neighbor and we found out about it this morning. And God bless her soul, she was like an angel to us, and we will honor her name forever. But even that made me stop in the moment and take it in, because to know that families are being struck by their loved ones being alone in a hospital and not being able to say their last goodbyes. Right now, I want to tear up and just scream about it, because chargers, really, chargers, the smallest things that are easily accessible and within reach for these companies to be able to put into our hospitals, it's not there. It's not something that is readily available to patients or to people that are taking their last breath. And that just leaves me, just heart struck.
Yeah, like the point is that hospitals are under prepared technologically,
yes,
in a way that can quickly help people, right? I'm going to admit, I'm a Trekkie, right? Love Star Trek, The Next Generation. But one of the main things that we gotten from that television show were devices.
Yeah.
iPads, cell phones. It's literally from Star Trek. My question is that the only thing? Why haven't there been leaps in hospital technology? Literally in most hospitals, they just now are getting flat screen TVs.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying flat screen TVs aren't important, but there should be more. I was discussing with my wife earlier that, we have a lot of wealthy people around the world. They're all buying $150,000, $250,000 cars that can go 155 miles an hour. Yet the speed limit is only 65 miles an hour. So you have those vehicles. I know it's a toy. It's a fun thing. But the whole dichotomy of the world is now shifted and changed forever. So I really believe hospitals need to step their game up. Yeah. There needs to be a device that can quickly analyze blood, can quickly analyze your internal organs within seconds to get a diagnosis, and then the doctors go into action.
Yeah, we were just talking about this even earlier. The movie with, what's the title? With the guy from, I forget the movie now.
Oh, Passengers.
Yes, Passengers
with
perfect
Chris
example.
Pratt.
Yes, thank you, babe. Perfect example. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but Passengers. In that movie, if you guys remember the scene where he floats, he goes to fix something on the ship and it blows up, and she reels him back in some sort of way, rushes him to a room. He's gonna laugh at me because I remember details, but when it comes to actors and actresses' names, it's few, but I can remember. But with scenes, yes, because I get really caught up in the movie line. It's my thing. So she hauls him back in, her and the computer on board, get him to this room. It's like I guess like their version of a hospital. But there are not all the, things we have in our hospitals, like an MRI and this, like all these big, huge machines that our medical facilities are wasting millions of dollars on. She literally, in that room, it was him, her, and one machine. And it was like a deep bed tunnel, funnel, I don't know what they call it.
It was a big bed in a glass tube.
In a glass tube, right.
And literally...
It scanned him. It tested him. It did surgery on him. She must have hit like a million buttons, which, by the way, I would have did if it was my husband. Because it's not like that. It came with, like, I guess some sort of manual, but she couldn't get her hands on it. But she's, like, banging on all these codes to get it to do what it has to save his life. And the machine just starts going crazy, analyzing him, testing his blood, his plasma count, his spine, scanning him up and down. Point being is it did it in under 2 minutes. Boom, done. All of a sudden he wakes up and is like, "You're alive."
Right. So again,
we should have that.
The movie, I don't know when the movie takes place, but I believe, I don't know if it's like 50 years, 100 years, 300 years, but the point being is that if we have flat screens, like we went from 800-pound, 24-inch square TVs, boxes that literally you need to be a bodybuilder to move, to flat screens that are paper thin. And I almost feels like, okay, I get entertainment is a big part of a global life, but life is more important than entertainment. Yeah. So where is the technological advances to save lives? Where are the devices that can like, whoop, boom, one scan we can see. Where's maybe X-ray glasses where like, oh, okay, I can see this bone is broken, and we can spray something that can encase the arm in like a hardened gel, and you can go to work.
Yeah.
But the point being is the hospitals, number one, are lacking in a lot of technology to save lives. Number two, schools.
The schools also. He's like pointing at me. He knows I have a lot to say when it comes to a lot of these topics. But
I just sit back and listen.
Schools also, the dynamic of how schools were designed. Yes, we get that they were designed, generations ago, years ago, decades, whatever you want to look at it as. But we've been having more and more attacks on our school, and our children's safety is number one. Any parent can tell you that. Just children, period. You want to be able to make sure that they're going to school, they're safe, that they're in a good environment. You're not sitting at home panicking every minute as we are now with all these school shootings that have been occurring. Easy formula, same thing goes, If the kids our children should not be having to do these I forget what they call them, red codes that they call them now, where it's a random fire. Before it used to be fire alarm.
Random terrorist attack drills to make
daunting.
Sure your children know if someone is coming into school to kill them. To shoot them. To kill them. And they know where to hide.
That alone has caused such a psychological impairment in children now that it's daunting. No parent wants to hear that their children is even practicing for something like that, but we have to be able to take measures. Our children just have to understand the dangers that happen daily in our society now, And unfortunate for us, we have no control over how the schools are ran, but if parents come together, you do have some sort of a voice. For me, it's like, instead of just practicing these drills, why not, yet again, here's the why not question or factor. Why not implement and get the money? Because we give donations. Schools have fundraisers all the time. You guys know these fundraisers, selling chocolate, selling Christmas wrapping paper, whatever they're raising money for. Where's the money going? Really? I mean, really, if teachers are already complaining that they're getting a lot of cuts in their pay, they're not getting paid for what they're worth, which they should be, just like a doctor. They're watching our kids all day long. I mean, come on. Why not set into play, for instance, automatic alarms that lock a door from within the classroom structure?
That's very smart.
Why not? I mean, think about it. I've been to my children's school so many times, from West Coast to the East Coast. We've lived in California, we've lived in Miami, we've lived in Atlanta. And I see the same thing all the time, especially as a parent. We are parents of a child that has disability, right? So if your child has a disability, schools should be better prepared even for that. I see so many things that are done so backwards that it makes no sense to me. I used to drop off my child. I dropped them off all the time to school. They've caught the bus as well, the public school bus. And the gates are always left unopened. Like, they're just left open. Any random stranger can walk into the school and do anything they want. They can just squeeze in between the morning routine when kids are, like, sitting out front saying the Pledge of Allegiance. And it's daunting. It's a scary thing to see that so many little tiny things can be done that can just be preventable for our children's lives, for our medical field and medical workers that are facing dangers. And it's ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah, I think the whole institution needs to be completely
Reexamined, reevaluated,
redone, because it's just not working.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they removed prayer out of the school, and that should be first.
Good point. That's
and
a
foremost.
good point.
Like, we seen I seen something on Facebook. Oh no. What? No, that was no,
Grey's
it wasn't.
Anatomy.
It was Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, we recently saw that.
I think it was one of the season finale. An Asian actor, before they started operating.
She put her hands.
She started praying, and I was just like.
And she really didn't even pray. Like, we didn't hear words come out of her mouth.
No, we didn't hear words.
It was the action behind it, and it was when they were gonna operate on the chief.
Exactly.
And all you saw was she put her hand together and just bowed her head.
So, first and foremost, prayer needs to come back. We need to have prayer in the beginning, and not just a regular prayer. They need a prophet or a pastor who knows how to instruct the children on the correct manner of prayer.
Yes.
Just to start the day off. Just to start the day off with
affirmations,
positive affirmations and positivity to say, you know what, you're going to have a absolutely phenomenal day. It is going to be blessed. It could be 1 minute.
If I can interject, I think the word you're trying to find is teaching our children the power in the tongue, in their words. The
Correct.
Power of speaking, that, hey, we do it with our kids. Today we wake up and the first thing we say is, good morning, God, good morning, world. Today is going to be a fabulous day, a favored filled day. It's going to be a happy day. Whatever words your children find to ease also their fears, because mind you, children have a lot of fears. As adults, we don't see it, and many of us go about our day as adults with the amount of stress we're carrying and things we have to get done for the day. But they too, our children really have so much fear and so much things that get that leeches onto them.
Yeah,
from their school days, from just being in school, things they see, things they hear on the news,
things they hear from their parents at home.
If they watch social media, cartoons, there's a lot being flustered into their minds that they need to be able to have the ability to bring prayer back, the ability to not just counselors. Yes, there are counselors on campuses, but there aren't counselors so much per se in elementary schools. I didn't know about a counselor till I got to high school.
Right. And
so it's important. Just like meditation. Some people...
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
There's schools that, I think it was Switzerland, one of those schools we read a blog or an online article about, that they started putting... And my child, she was blessed to have a teacher that would give them 10 minutes, and he would turn off the light in his classroom to have them just close their eyes and visualize. Visualizing is such key to, just what you're calling for the day, what you're calling for the week, whatever it is you're facing. Children need that because they are visual thinkers. So for me, that was beautiful when I read that article, that they stopped and just meditated, and they just let go of everything. So, sometimes you need a pause in the day.
So first, prayer, meditation. number 2, maybe 2, 3, and 4.
Bring back more outdoor activities.
Well, outdoor
Running.
activities, yes, but I think the structure of how it's arranged should be changed. Like math, finances, and psychology should be.
Nutrition.
I don't know if it's like, well, nutrition is the next thing, but one, knowing how to ascertain if their friend, peer, teacher, if anyone is just having a bad day, so they can like immediately like, oh, okay, this person is not doing too good. Maybe I can ask them, or maybe I need to back off instead of being too teaseful or joking, or not even knowing the signs of like, maybe this person is depressed, maybe he's angry, maybe he has some sort of issues. It needs to be taught at the beginning, so by the time they're 10, 11, they can psychologically analyze someone and have more empathy towards their friends. Right?
I agree.
Math and finances, of course, it goes hand in hand, but not like calculus or knowing how to like build a bridge with toothpicks or whatever, but so really your finances. Like, how are you going to handle life? You could be a rocket scientist, but you still got to handle your finances.
They should have, like the school we wanted to put our son into, they should be able, our children, you're saying that the school should implement more real day-to-day activities that they're going to be faced with. Financial, he's saying a financial class from young, where kids are able to understand money, understand how the banking system works. As they get older, investments, stocks, things of that nature, because I think all of you guys can agree out there. And if you do, comment down below. Let us know. Did you guys learn about, investments in banking and how to write a check? Yes, although parents are required to teach us that, schools are also being paid to teach our children how to be able to have survival methods. And in the real structure of the world.
Right. Survival methods, and just going over scenarios. Like in the military, they go over scenarios like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Yet our children literally don't know anything. They don't know like how to adapt immediately if this occurs when they get to a certain age. So those type of scenarios should be like drilled in them, knowing how to like find bargains.
Well, a lot of people say that too. When they graduate, by the time we're done with high school, I've heard several people say, oh, I graduated high school, now what? I don't even know how to change the oil in my car, or how to
change the oil in your car, like,
or how to put air in, in my tires, or how to write a check. I've had a friend graduate from high school, all the way through high school, guys, and say, I don't really know how to fill out a check. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? Well, my mom never taught me because she was always working. And I mean, hey, that's reality. There's parents that are single parents that work 2-3 jobs to survive.
Some kids don't even know how to do laundry. I mean, my mom,
I was blessed. My husband does.
So
do I.
Instructed me from young, and it was like, it's a little reoccurring joke that like my friends have. But at the end of the day, it's a life skill that you need to know, like how to like clean appropriately, how to disinfect. All of that starts in the home. And if the parents are not instructing them, because of course parents have to work, they come home from work, they're fixing dinner, trying to do homework, and trying to recharge their own batteries.
To start it over again the
Even
next
if
day.
they teach them in the home, it should be continued in the school. So they're like, oh, Mom, I know how to disinfect. I know the ratio of water to bleach to create some sort of disinfectant. Home remedies.
Oh, good. I like that point that you brought up. Even the smallest things. Like now, we're all living on Instagram and YouTube, which amazing platforms. Even the smallest things. Making a mask out of a bandana with rubber bands or hair ties. I mean, come on. These are little things that, you could start teaching kids from young. They're constantly having activities in kindergarten, coloring, or this or that. Even with math. I don't know if you guys agree, but the math that they have now in schools, I mean, really? What are they preparing our kids to do? Like...
They're trying to
each
get
math
them
problem,
to
and I love math.
figure
I went
out the
all the way up
circumference
into
of a
stats
singularity.
and organic chem, but it's like, I think we agree on the
Yeah.
topic that we're having today, that small things within our I would say our school and our
education
medical and our
system
education systems, they
needs
can be implemented and should have been implemented.
like the
Like,
whole
just
thing needs to change.
restructured.
It needs to be reconstructed from the ground up.
Yeah.
Like, we need education on nutrition, what to eat, what not to
Our
eat,
hospitals
what
could be
causes
set
what.
up better with the necessities that they need. Things that they shouldn't have to be shouting out to the top of their lungs on their... I see doctors on IG. Literally, doctors crying their hearts out, which is heartbreaking. That the little things that they need right now and that are not being like easily just given to them. It's people outside that are donating and coming together as a community, which is a beautiful thing, to donate into these hospitals, because they're just overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed, and they shouldn't have to be going through this. The no hospital, no schools should lack funding of any kind. Because I mean, think about this. If these places where we have people that are dedicated and devoted to helping us, to saving our lives, to caring for our children, they're lacking funding. That's all we hear all day long. When I talk to my children's school, my son's school, about, hey, why aren't you guys doing this? Or what do you guys need to help the class for it to function better? Even I have donated things to the classrooms. And I'm not talking about school supplies and paper and pens and glue. No, those are things schools should have, period. We didn't grow up in an era, thank God, my husband and I, where you had to bring your own paper to print something on the printing machine. You know, colleges are doing that now. The schools and the hospitals and these places that are giving back to us, they get more than enough private and public funded donations. The government, I'm sure, donates or gives each hospital a certain amount of money, or whoever runs those medical and school systems. So there should be no reason why money or lack of funding, lack of anything should not be a word within those companies. Yep. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if money can be created so easily, $1 trillion bailout, it's created so easily. We wouldn't have to be having all these setbacks if things were already laid into place the way that it should go. Exactly. Like, it's just that simple. I mean, those little steps can make such a big difference. You know, think about it. Chargers. Hospitals should be able to have chargers
just like an airport.
Easily accessible, like the airports. Now you
just
see
like an airport.
Airports make trillions, if not, I don't even know what goes beyond that, of dollars.
It's trillions of dollars per year. And it was nothing. One day you didn't see it. Next day you're like,
now
wow,
you can sit down and there's Bluetooth,
the
Bluetooth chargers and this and that. A hospital should be designed the same. All hospitals, they should be treated equally. That's another thing. Hospitals, whether they're in a lower, income area versus a more suburb area, there should be no such thing. A life is a life. For me, a life is a life. Yeah. There's no reason why, because this is a lower, income-based community, the hospitals are crappy, or they lack staff, or they lack this, or there should be no such thing. Yeah, there shouldn't.
There's no reason why an MRI device is literally the size of a huge living room. Like, is no reason. And
they've gotten a little smaller, but they're still pretty smaller, big.
But again, the technological the technology hasn't progressed much, right? It's still pretty much almost the same way to operate on somebody like how it was in the 1940s. You're slicing them open, you're digging into their body, hammering with something to like...
But you go to a wealthy place, take per se, I'm sure Dubai has more advances than here. But the small things, that's all the topic is about. The small things are easily accessible, they're readily available, and there should be no reason why just us as, citizens around our our neighborhoods, our communities, that are the ones trying to donate into this. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
small things.
The system needs a complete overhaul, and we don't know. This is a brand new situation for me, for everybody in the world.
Yeah.
And when things, God willing, when things begin to move forward again, these are just topics and thoughts that, like, it really needs to be taken care of, because we pray that there's not going to be another pandemic, but men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The numbers show there's going to be another one. We were warned about this one when Obama was in the office, and here we are. So there really needs to be a committee or somebody say, hey, we're going to start updating the hospitals. I know roads are fine. New televisions are great. I can't wait for the new PS5. But I'd much rather have a device. If I break my arm or if I get poisoned or something happens, it can scan me within 5 seconds and they can save my life instead of having me wait.
And it's not that it's not there. I don't know if you've seen, even on Facebook, they put up a video, and I think I had watched it a couple months back, where now they have this, it's similar to like the blue lights that you use for your setup with the set, and they just put it right over your vein. I don't know if you guys can see, I have pretty easy veins to see, but they put it's like a square, I don't know, sticky thing that they put over your skin, and it lights up and it can find all your veins easily. All your veins.
That is a wonderful invention. So where are all our inventors at? Where are you guys at? I know you're out there somewhere. I wish I did have $20 million to invest in you guys, but there needs to be a shift of priorities. Everybody on Kickstarter, awesome. I'm glad of the new headphones and new Bluetooth devices and everything. That's cool, but we really need to start thinking more out the box.
Being better prepared.
Where are the hospital advancements? Where are medical advancements? Look at Star Trek: The Next Generation. There's plenty of episodes when Dr. Crusher was like using devices, Bones using devices like, oh, you got poisoned by this, here's the inoculant, and you'll be good within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It can be done. If we got the iPads, we got the flat screen devices, this can be done.
A lot of things can be done. And I think many of you out there think the same thing.
Yes.
When you're watching not just that we're sitting in now with the quarantine and the lockdown that's occurring everywhere and that we're all being affected by, but I'm very sure all of you, when you see movies or commercials or shows, there's little tidbits where you're like, wait a minute, why are they doing that this way when they can easily do this or solve this or figure this out to, make it a lot easier?
Unfortunately, some people, a lot of people, y'all might look at this and say, y'all guys is crazy, this and that. Like, nobody really thinks about it until their family member or they're actually in the situation. And
That's
you're like, true. My wife has been waiting here for like an hour. Somebody help me. Last week, y'all was just joking about it, but now you're in the situation and it's serious.
Yeah.
I was one of those people. Like, my wife got injured and, or no, not even injured, when we were having our second child. I had all the information. I'm like, boom, 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 boom. It's like, okay, well, she can sit right there. I'm like, no, like, she's dilated. Like, she's like literally giving birth now.
I was crowning. And that's what he's trying to say. I was 9 centimeters.
Crowning. The baby was shooting out. And they're like, no, she's good. She can stay there. And like, my wife is like this. Oh, like, just like, I'm like, oh snap, what's going to happen? Yeah. And time is of the essence. Lives
are of the essence right now.
Time is of the essence, because time is the one thing we can't get back. Sure. So if we can like circumvent certain things to extend the lives by not wasting time, we'd be so much better off.
So guys, I think we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna see what you guys have to say. Put your comments down below. Let us know what you think about this topic. Give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and check into our next podcast, which will probably be something about health or my crazy story about life and where it's taken us, which is why we bring all these episodes to you guys, so that you can find a way to connect to everything life is throwing at you and know that no matter what, we can untangle the messy life that we're walking through. Just remember to keep faith. Our prayers go out to everyone, and press into God. Right now, what we need the most is for us to be united and to be compassionate. So I don't know if he has anything else to say.
Don't forget to turn that notification bell on, so you can be notified when our next episode is uploaded.
Yes.
And just as my wife said, put God first. You got to give God the glory. If you're still here, give him the glory. Start praying and start believing.
Yes.
Until next time, we love you guys.
God bless.
Peace.
Life gets messy sometimes. Do not forget to keep it untangled.